Hi, this is Peter from Omnia. Sara asked me to make a video about how we prepare our water for use with our pot system that we're using for our herb garden. So in this video, I'll go through why we make our own and also how we actually make it. First of all, let's quickly go through the basic concepts that we're following with our own kitchen herb garden. We use our regular tap water as a base for our water. We figured that it's the most convenient source of water and also the cheapest. All plants we're using in our herb garden need pretty much the same nutrients in about the same quantities. What we've learned is that there are 14 essential nutrients that plants require. The essential macronutrients are nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, sulfur, magnesium, and calcium. And the essential micronutrients include iron, manganese, boron, zinc, copper, chlorine, nickel, and molybdenum. All of these are essential, which means that the plants won't thrive if they don't get enough of each and every nutrient. Most of the time, the plants provide visual clues when it comes to the nutrients they have enough of and what they lack. It takes a while and we're certainly not there yet, but you can learn to be able to recognize if a plant is lacking a nutrient or even has too much of it. We believe that our pot system, which combines the use of water and soil, works because we let the plant get the nutrients it needs from either the water or the soil. One might say we let the plants choose from where to get each nutrient instead of us choosing it for them. It also makes the blending of the water we use quite easy, as we can count on the soil to make up for our mistakes. As long as we provide moderate amounts of the nutrients I mentioned earlier, it all evens out in the long run. And finally, as we're after a herb garden that doesn't require a lot of maintenance, we need everything to be as easy as possible to do and not require a lot of effort. That way we can incorporate it in our everyday life instead of creating another one of those chores you just have to do. We all have too many of those already. If you're interested in learning more about the pot system I mentioned, or even making one yourself, I'll include a link to that video in the description. So now that we've gone through our thinking when it comes to our herb garden, let's look at how we actually prepare our water. First, let's go through things you'll need. You need a watering can. Well, that's a given. But we do use one exclusively for our edible plants and another for our flowers. That's mainly because we prioritize the well-being of the plants we eat. Our flowers get a blend as well, but that's not as thought out as the water we use in our herb garden. The next item you need is some regular tap water. As there might be some volatile impurities or contaminants in the water, we got two ways of dealing with that in our everyday life. Our most preferred way is to use boiled water, as in cooled down boiled water. As Sara loves tea and boils the water she uses in a kettle like this one, we get quite a lot of boiled water to use. Another way is to let the water rest for a few hours, or even better, through the night before you use it. For flowers, as I mentioned earlier, we use regular tap water that we just let rest over the night. The amount of tea Sara would need to drink to be able to water them with boiled water is unimaginable, so we've chosen not to go there. The next ingredient is ordinary leftover coffee. We have a jar on our kitchen counter that we pour leftover coffee in that we use to spice up our herb garden water. Just a tip, something we've learned the hard way. Just add black coffee. Don't add coffee with cream, milk, or anything else you might have in your cup of coffee. And that'll only ruin the batch, but it will also smell quite awful. And another tip, you can also add the coffee and water blend from your coffee maker pot or your thermos when you rinse it. Blending in coffee in our plant water was the first thing we could see that had a very dramatic effect when it came to how our plants reacted. They went crazy. The effect was really big. The effect of blending in coffee in our tap water was so great that we also started using it for our flowers. As you don't need much coffee, they get to enjoy that caffeine-rich beverage as well. We also add small amounts of a plant nutrient solution. Even though our coffee did wonders to our plants, we weren't sure if our herbs were getting all the nutrients they require from the water, so we added this to our blend just to be sure. Together with the nutrients from the soil, we believe this makes sense. We recommend you get a nutrient solution that has all the nutrients plants require in it. You won't be using that much of it anyway, and also your plants need all the nutrients I mentioned, so it's better to pay some more for a complete solution instead of trying to save some on a cheaper one. Well, that's basically all you need. Now, let's make this special water of ours. We start with an empty can to be able to show you how we get our everyday setup from the beginning. First of all, you boil some water in a kettle, just like the one I showed you earlier. You let it cool down and you pour it in the watering can. The second step is to pour some coffee from your coffee jar, or if you haven't started one, just a small amount from the coffee you made before watching this video. The amount of coffee isn't all that important, just don't overdo it. You don't want your water to be too dark in color, so use it in moderation. That's all you need. And the last step is to add a very small amount of the nutrient solution. This one is a concentrate, so I add just a tad to the water. As I mentioned earlier, I'm counting on the combination of the soil and the water to do its magic. And you only need a few drops. And that's it for a startup watering can. I recommend you make it a habit to add your leftover boiled water directly to your watering can, and also try to remember to add your leftover coffee to your coffee jar from time to time. Then all you have to do is add coffee to your water as needed, as well as the nutrient solution. We add small amounts of coffee about 3 to 4 times per week. And when it comes to the nutrient solution, we add it about once a week. For us, this works like magic. I hope you'll give this a go, and also, why not try out our homemade pot system to experience the sense of accomplishment when you get your plants to not only thrive, but almost explode in growth. I hope to see you in the next video, and good luck with your indoor herb garden.